which other one was it? Metro, wasn't it? There we go. Selfish baby boomers stop new housing. So Sajid Javid and the Prime Minister out on the offensive today, suggesting housing will be the centrepiece of next week's budget.
Very punchy intervention from Sajid Javid there. And
very foolish intervention, more like.
I mean,
winning friends and influencing people in the Tory party by hitting out at their core vote. Great idea.
I mean, there's definitely that sort of political analysis to be done. But what he's also talking about is the fact that there is a zero-sum game at the heart of housing. So basically, there are winners and losers. So when house prices go up, people who own their houses win, people who rent lose because their rents go up. It's even harder for them to get on the housing ladder. And, you know, house prices have gone up on average in Britain over the last 40 years by an astounding amount. I think the housing charity Shelter said that if you looked at the price of chickens...
Do you know what? I was honestly disappointed because you hadn't come out with any facts and figures.
No, this is a great fact. I can't remember exactly
where the chicken comes into it.
But basically, Shelter looked at what the price of a chicken would be today if it had gone up at the same rate.
You're worrying
me
at this point.
And it is quite astounding. I can't remember the exact number.
So the chicken would be expensive, is the point you're trying to make?
Yes, the chicken would be really expensive.
The chicken would be unaffordable.
The chicken would be completely unaffordable.
You have completely lost the plot here. I think you need to be shuffled off.
And so Sajid Javid is making a serious point, which is when people who own their own houses, you know, object to more developments in their local area, they're actually making it harder for younger people to get on the housing ladder. We need house prices to sort of level off if house prices...
Brexit has actually helped that so far, something that you might be able to agree on. So look at your face, don't look so shocked. I'm saying that Brexit has actually been quite helpful to house prices. House prices have slipped in London, so you should be pleased about that.
I mean,
she's actually lost for once. I'm clocking that up as a win.
I don't think stagnating the economy and damaging the economy is the best way to get to house price affordability, I'm afraid. I think it's building more houses.
We've quite got to that stage, but anyway.
The suggestion came last week, wasn't it? If millennials stopped crushing avocados and buying coffee, they'd be able to put down a deposit for a nice new property, but clearly people have done the maths on that and it doesn't always work out. And he also said, you know, this is nothing about crushed avocados, Sajid Javid.
Exactly, and someone clearly thought
save a lot of avocados
to make cost a couple of £100 a pop or something. But
suggestion being also that the really most expensive houses, people are not being able to sell them now because of the changes to stamp duty brought in by George Osborne.
No, that is a serious
that actually the family homes can't be...
The system.
Yes, they did. So could we see a stamp duty
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not really hearing, and I don't know whether you've heard anything different, but I've definitely not heard any discussion around a change to that stamp duty policy. It has been incredibly punitive, applies to people who are buying and selling second homes, and you know, the figures are quite astronomical, but I don't sense that there's going to be any shift on that.
Let's go to the front page of the Guardian. Who has said this? Trump is a fascist kind of figure?
Sonia got really excited about this, so I'm just going to go straight to you on this, Sonia.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. So a Nobel Prize-winning American economist called Joseph Stiglitz has said some really quite punchy things about Trump. I think he's actually probably just voicing the views, what a lot of people are thinking but not saying. So he's called him a fascist kind of figure. He's said that he thinks that, so Trump has said that he wants to pull out of NAFTA. That's going to be very, very difficult for America to do legally.
Pull out of what?
The North American Free Trade
I just thought that,
Agreement.
not everybody will necessarily know what that is. I just think your jargon sometimes, you know, would be good to explain for everybody.
Okay, we're getting back to the story. Where was I? Yeah, so Trump wants to pull out this. It's going to be very legally difficult. And so Stiglitz has said that there is a risk that when Trump doesn't get his way, that he does something really foolish, like push the nuclear button. And he does concede that the American political system and the Constitution put some pretty strong limits on the presidency. I think now we're seeing those constitutional limits being tested with a personality like Trump in a way that they never have been before.
And another thing which has caught the eye of the Daily Mirror, which came out last night, Trump lifts the ban on elephant head trophies. Many people pointing out that his children are amongst those.
Yeah, I mean, I feel this is a story that ordinary people could really sort of get enraged about. You know, the idea that he will actually reverse legislation brought in by his predecessor designed to protect endangered species and actually allow people to import head trophies. I mean, seriously, what planet is he on? Not planet conservation, anyway.
Yes, certainly. We have not got time to do Benedict Allen. Perhaps we'll do that in the next thing. Thankfully found alive. And that story as well, which has been denied by Stallone's team today too, on the front page of the Daily Mirror. See you at 11:30. Thank you very much indeed. Let's take a look at the weather now.